So that's how the book kind of kicks off, and this guy was just born on the battlefield basically, and is fighting in these savage battles as a kid. And I think it's interesting that you start the book where a guy's about to die, and I think there's something significant to that, and it's not the only time in the book where he's about to die. He faces these bad situations over and over again. And again, we just have to fast forward through massive chunks of this book. And
I was just going to make one comment.
Absolutely.
For those people who are wondering why we're saying takezo. So takezo is represented by the same two characters that can also be read as musashi. So there are different readings for characters in Japanese depending on if they are adapted Chinese readings or native Japanese readings. So musashi is what would be called the kunyomi, or the Japanese reading, and takezo, same two characters, would be the Chinese reading. Basically, the Chinese origin reading, which is called onyomi. So it's the same person, takezo, and then musashi.
Are the Japanese and Chinese characters related linguistically?
They are very, very similar. So the Japanese took Chinese characters, which they call kanji, and they converted them into two what are referred to as syllabaries. So we have an alphabet, A, B, C, D. We have vowels and consonants. In Japanese, they have what are called syllabaries, meaning they are syllables instead of individual letters. So you have kakiku keko, ma mi mu me mo, sa shi tsu se so, and which is part of the reason why Japanese have so much trouble with almost every language. They kind of got robbed when the gods were handing out sounds. So they have trouble with a lot of languages, including English. But nonetheless, those were simplified versions of the characters. So for instance, the character for that you could say represents peace in Chinese, which is an. So for instance, peace, the word in Chinese would be anquan. So I've spent time in China as well. In Japanese, it's anzeng. It's very similar. And then the character for an has a roof and then a woman under a roof, and that represents peace. That was then modified into the sound ah, the vowel ah, and there are fewer strokes in that. So that's some of the framework for the Japanese writing systems. They have two syllabaries and then the Chinese characters that they use.
The languages are not mutually intelligible, though, are they?
Not at all. Now, there are certain words that are not terribly close, but maybe what you would find, say, between Portuguese and Spanish, for instance. So you would have a word like telephone, which is literally electric talk, which is, and even electricity has cloud and dragon underneath it, which is kind of cool. But anyway, that's denwa in Japanese, dianhua in Mandarin, and then zhenghua in Korean, because a lot of the words in Korea were also borrowed from the Chinese characters. But beyond that, the grammar, everything else is completely different.